Goes without saying that this is one of my favorites on the NES. But I still got my copy from. What else do we got? Power Blade, another great side scroller on the NES. Got that box.
Question. I see. Is it Legacy of the Wizard?
Yes.
Is that where you could change characters and all that? Did you ever play through that entire game with all the characters?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
I bet that took a long time.
Once you get the flow of things, it's not too bad.
I remember that was a hard game to play.
Yeah. What else we got? What else we got?
There's a favorite. Well, two, and they're right next to each other. Shadowgate.
Oh, yeah. Lots of fun there.
Lots of nice nightmares, too.
Yeah.
And then Skate or Die, I remember playing that a lot.
Classic intro on this. We got some stuff for the Super Nintendo. I don't have a lot of standouts on the Super Nintendo. I guess right off the bat, I have Final Fight 2 and 3 boxed, which this isn't too easy to come by. Final Fantasy Mystic Quest, which is the easiest out of the bunch, but always nice to have it boxed.
Well, you got Killer Instinct.
Yep, Killer Instinct. The box is kind of worse for wear. It's had its ass kicked, but the protective case kind of helps it. Decent game.
Is that the cartridge that was black?
Yep. Yep. Oh, here's a good one. Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past, complete map and all. Love that game. Kind of an odd one in the same vein of Out of This World and Flashback. Lester the Unlikely. The inspiration for the angry video game nerd, I think, started here. Maybe not. This is one I haven't played yet, but I plan to, and that is Lufia 2, Rise of the Sinistrels, which is pretty cool. A boxed copy that I found at a Goodwill, if I remember correctly. Classic strategy game that I got to get a proper case for. This I found at a Blockbuster last year, buried in the back for like $4.99, and that is Metal Marines. Great title. What else do we got? Sonic Blast Man. Great beat 'em up, though the stages are a little too long. Classic. One of my favorites on the Super Nintendo. Star Fox.
Yeah, I still remembered the competition.
Yep.
At Walmart.
Street Fighter 2 Turbo. Can't go wrong with that.
Didn't we own Turbo before we even got Champion Edition?
Yes. I have 2 box copies of this, actually. Wanderers from East 3. And probably one of my last favorites from the Box NES collection that hasn't made its way up, Metal Gear boxed. Also got that at Midwest Gaming Classic last year. Comes with a map that we never knew existed, because we rented it or we had it from my cousin. So yeah, that's kind of shelf number 1. And we'll go to the next shelf here, and I'll kind of blow through the rest of this stuff quickly here. Xbox stuff on the top. Some of my standout favorites as I'm looking. 13, great title. The Ghost Recon, the original Halo, of course. Indigo Prophecy, which I just played. Panzer Dragoon Orta, really decent game. The Splinter Cells. Here is the start of a great BioWare series, and that is Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. Both 1 and 2, really enjoyed playing those games. The first one a little bit more than the second one, just because the second one was rushed. My PlayStation 2 collection, the Castlevanias, as well as the Metal Gears, all the different variant Metal Gears, Mega Man X's, Suikodens. Down here, even though they're cartridges of games, really, we got the TurboGrafx-16 Hue cards. We got some Super CD games here too. We got Riot Zone and Lords of Thunder. Fantastic. Loads and loads and loads of Dreamcast games. And down here is the PlayStation collection. And I have quite a, I think I have like 200 PlayStation titles. Some of my favorites: Castlevania Chronicles, Castlevania Symphony of the Night, Clock Tower.
Ugh. I really hated that game.
Clock Tower?
Yeah.
Not a fan, huh?
Just scared the shit out of me.
Yeah. Down here I got some of my double jewel cases divided out just to make things easier. There's original Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil Director's Cut, the Lunar games. There's all sorts of stuff down here, but I really enjoy my PlayStation library. Okay, so that's two of the shelves of gaming. Really quick here, I want to talk about these two pieces of artwork. Unfortunately, the girl escapes, her name escapes me, but she was at the Midwest Gaming Classic. And she just did some fantastic artwork. Chun-Li here looks freaking awesome. Cammy looks awesome too, so does Assy McGee here. She actually had to hide that because they said it was too offensive. So hopefully she does some more artwork, because I wouldn't mind getting some pieces here for work, actually, my office job. Before we get to the cartridge games here, I do have an Neo Geo AES. The reason it's disconnected is because I really don't play it that much, because I have a Neo Geo MVS. And the reason why I haven't sold it, even though it's collecting dust and no one's playing it, is because the Neo Geo AES was a piece of gold. It was like the apple of Eden when it came to game consoles. You would look in the Funko-Land price sheets and you would go, how the hell is this game $300? How the hell is this system like $400, $500? You never saw one. It was a ghost. No Funko-Land in our area ever had one. And it never had a system demo either. So this is kind of cool because it's like having the system I never would have ever been able to have as a kid. And that's why I have it. So we come down here and we got a whole bunch of different cartridge stuff. And this is not in any alphabetical order. I'd have to get some different shelves for that to happen. We'll start at the top here, and this is some of my Super Nintendo stuff. A lot of great games here. Super Nintendo is one of my favorite systems. Right off the bat here, great game, Demon Crest. A lot of fun. Almost has some Castlevania Symphony of the Night / Metroid elements to it. A lot of fun. Kind of hard to find these days, at least for cheap. What else is in here? Super Game Boy, cool add-on. Game Genie for shooting. One of my favorite RPGs, Chrono Trigger. Great game here, Saturday Night Slam Masters. Got this on a trip to Minnesota. Here's something that you don't see too often, and that is Star Fox 2, which never officially came out. A ROM leaked, some guys finished it, and released a cartridge of it, which is pretty cool. And there's some other stuff back here that I'm not going to dig out that is loads of fun. The original Shadowrun on SNES is one of my favorites, as well as some other titles. Down here we have 3 rows of games, and these are NES games, and the shelf goes one back further, so you have 6 rows of games across here. I think I have close to 200 NES titles. Looking at the front here, let's see if there's any games that stand out. River City Ransom, classic game, love that. One of the first NES games my dad ever bought me. The first NES game my dad bought me, other than Super Mario Brothers that came with Nintendo. Ninja Gaiden, love this game. Mike Tyson's Punch Out before he was beating women and biting ears. Great game. Now if we pop over here really quick, we'll see something that is not NES titles, and that is Famicom Disk System games. And if you remember me talking about my Famicom Disk System, this is the actual games themselves. So we've got Super Mario Brothers, Kid Icarus, Section Z, Castlevania. Why don't we pop open one of these suckers? That's what they look like. that pops in. This has got Castlevania on it. This was Nintendo's answer prior to battery backups for system. We had batteries in our cartridges. These games did not. In order to save progress and everything, you do it right on the disc, which actually in our American release, we didn't even get a battery for Castlevania. We just got...
Game over.
Yeah.
Start from the beginning.
Well, you didn't have to start from the beginning, but if you reset the unit, you did that. And down here is all sorts of different kinds of stuff, and we got to be really careful here. This stuff likes to fall over. There's that Shadowrun you were asking me about for Genesis, or Shinobi. So yeah, there's Genesis and Master System stuff over here, as well as some Nintendo 64 stuff. Again, like I said, the thing I hate about Nintendo 64 stuff, no titles on the top. Monster Truck Madness, Nuclear Strike, Pilot Wings, Turok Rage Wars, all sorts of stuff. There's Jaguar stuff back here. Here's some Famicom stuff. I love the Famicom cartridges. Love them to death. Here is Castlevania 3. Very different looking compared to its American counterpart. Can you tell me what game that is?
No.
Shadowgate.
Is it really?
That's Shadowgate. Uninvited. Akira. Bases Loaded. Biosenshi Dan. And there's all sorts of other stuff in here. But I love Famicom cartridges. They're like candy. And this tower that's about to fall over here is some of my Super Famicom games, which, again, no top titles. This is Ranma 1/2, Fighter's History, Pilot Wings,
Fist of the North Star.
Yep. Dragon Ball Z. Some great titles there. But again, I'm from the heavens, Final Fantasy VI. Alright, so before we go over the last few things in this room, before we get over to the Saturn kiosk, before we get over to the TV, let's talk about kind of the toy center for me here. I love statues, I love figures, always have. One of my favorites was this that I got to review. This got sent to me, and they enjoyed the review so much that I actually got to keep the unit, and that is this Ryu statue. LEDs still look great on it. It's just a badass statue of Ryu, but it's an expensive one. That's why I'm glad they let me keep it, because there's no way my wife would let me buy that thing outright. And here I have various toys from various video games. This is kind of the Square Enix wing. We got some Chrono Trigger figures here, Final Fantasy VII, Final Fantasy VIII in the background. Down here we got some other Play Arts Kai stuff. We got Snake from Metal Gear Solid, Dante, some characters from Final Fantasy XIII, Mega Man, some more Ryu. And down here we got more miscellaneous stuff. We got Ada Wong, Crimson Viper, Maria from Castlevania, Claire from Resident Evil, some old school Metal Gear Solid figures. Altier's back there. And down here we got miscellaneous Halo stuff, a Deus Ex figure, and more Halo stuff. So, yeah. On the last wing, and we've kind of showed you a little bit of it, but this over here is my TV, and here's my other TV. And what I like about this is a full-blown Sega Saturn retail kiosk. I got this for working on a website for a guy. He owns a video game shop a couple miles from here, and he had a bunch of these in his garage, and he said, well, if you want one, you can have one. I was like, okay, cool. So this is an original kiosk they use for retail for these Sega Saturns, and it's fully working. It's got all the lights. I still have the original Saturn that it came with, as well as the bootleg demo CD. That was the official name for their bootleg CD that had a bunch of Saturn demos on there. And it's just a cool piece to accent any retro video gamer's collection. It weighs 400 pounds, and it's a pain in the ass. I don't know how we got this upstairs. You know, people complain about how heavy my pinball machines are when they help me with them, or my arcade machines. They never lifted this sucker. This thing is a bitch to move around. But there's miscellaneous stuff on there, and it's, I don't know, it's a cool piece to have in the room. And finally, my Sony HD TV. I actually just switched this out last night. Originally I had a Westinghouse LCD LED TV, and that doesn't have optical out, and my sound card, or my sound bar, actually has optical out, so I switched them out. LED looks better for like broadcast TV stuff anyway. This looks better for games that actually prefer LCD, and this is 1080p. So this is where I do the majority of my video gaming on. Great screen, good sound here, and lets me do what I need to do. And well, that's pretty much it, guys. This is my upstairs game room, so I hope you enjoyed the various episodes I had on this. And next we will cover my modern gaming rig as well as my arcade room eventually. So that's all for now. Big thanks to my little brother for helping me film this, and thanks for watching. Peace, guys.